Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another one of our live sessions here at Clever Photographer YouTube channel. I hope you all having a great day wherever you are, and I hope that you're ready to go through all the news we have received today with this massive announcement from Skylum, the designers of Luminar NEO. Now, if you've never been here before, my name is Jacob Bors, and I'm a professional photographer based in West Sussex, England. I'm also founder of Clever Photographer, and that's a place where we create digital tools and courses for photographers. Now, here on our YouTube channel, we're focusing solely on Luminar NEO, and we bring you the latest updates of the software, and also we create tutorials and videos on how to use this application. So of course that we are back with another live session. We try to do that with every update, and we couldn't miss it with this set of news. Now let me just make sure that everything is looking good, that everything is on. It seems like we are broadcasting on YouTube, on our Facebook page, and we should be also live on our Facebook group, Clever Photographer Academy. While you all joining us, if you have a moment, make sure that you write us in the comments where you're watching from and say hello so we can start the stream. While we're waiting for people, let me just tell you what we're gonna do this evening. So first of all, we're gonna go through the announcement one more time. I will go through all the news and everything that we can expect this autumn. After that, we will look at some of the examples of the new tools we're going to be expecting. I'm going to show you some of the new sliders where we see a little bit better how each of these new tools will work. And finally, at the end, if we have a little bit of time, we will go back to Luminar NEO, and I will show you a little bit more on how to use this latest tool, which is the Studio Light tool. So this is what we're going to do. At the same time, while you're watching, ask any questions you may have about the upcoming tools, ask any questions about Luminar NEO, and I will be more than happy to answer them throughout this video. Now, if I don't know any of these answers, I will go back to the team and I will get back to you on that as well. So we have 14 people right now watching live across all the platforms. We'll see if we get more, but not to hold you any further. Let's start right away by looking at the set of news that we have received today from Skylum and Luminar. So this set of updates we're going to see this autumn is called Luminar NEO Fall Update or Fall News for 2023. So really starting from the end of August this year, all the way probably towards the December, we will see a set of updates that will bring lots of new tools and features. It will also bring an update to the actual software, and we will see refreshers all the way around. Now, first come first, let's talk about the new tools we're going to see, again, starting from the end of August. So the very first one we're going to see is called Studio Light. Now, this is a tool that is really focusing on portrait photographers. And with this tool, you will be able to add a really kind of professional lighting that you can see in expensive studios. It's a tool that I haven't really seen many times before, and it really makes adding these special effects really easy. Now, I already have the beta version, and I will show you how to use that and what you can do with it towards the end of this live stream. So let's move on to the other tools. While we're doing that, let me just go through and let's have a look at some of the examples here. So for example, we were just talking about the Studio Light. Let me just make sure that you can see the screen a little bit better. I will make this a little bit bigger, and let's talk about again Studio Light. You can see it here. When I push the slider, you can see that with a set of sliders in this tool, you will be able to add look like this. Looking at another example right here, again, this almost looks like you're using kind of soft box with a filter on it, or maybe there is a window with the curtain or something like that. I think it really looks cool. This is one of my favorite examples. I think this looks really, really well as well. And another example right here. So this is what you will be able to do with the Studio Light. Another tool we're going to see is called water enhancement or water enhancer. So let me just get there and let's have a look at it. Now, looking at the text, the water enhancer tool will add a color and dimension to lakes, rivers, and other bodies of water. It will transform aquatic scenes and create more captivating water features. So looking again at the example here, you can see at the beginning, we have this very kind of brown looking water. It's almost difficult to say if it's water at all. And with the use of this water, you will be able to turn it into something like this. It will also work on pictures where there's other subjects like humans and so on. Again, looking at it, you're starting with this brown looking water, and with this tool, you will be able to turn it to this blue, like exotic or tropical look. Similarly, here again, we have an example of the river, or here with the bear. This is kind of natural. This is quite natural result actually, where you're starting with the brown and you just turn it to this kind of darker green. And it really is up to you how much of the effect you will want to apply. It's just great that you don't have to use combination of tools like saturation and HSL panel and white balance. You can just use this one tool. Let's have a look at one more example right here. I think that's great as well. And let's move on to another tool. So Studio Light and Water Enhancer. Now the next tool will be called Neon and Glow. I actually saw a beta version of the tool in past, and it's really, really cool on what you can do with it. Now I know that this will not be for everyone, especially people who prefer to keep their pictures natural. However, if you want to be creative and try to create something a little bit different, this will be great tool for you. So for example, this picture of the bird, this is a before and after. After that, we have the portrait here again, before and after with this square or lines of glow. This is really cool, almost like a scene from Harry Potter. When I saw the tool, you will be able to do a whole bunch of adjustments to it. For example, adjust the color, the amount of glow, the shape, and so on. And I think this looks quite cool too. Then something a little bit upbeat, again, before and after, creating really cool look. And finally, with the car here, you can see what you can do on a car image like this. Again, I think it's really creative and really cool on what you can do with your images. So those are the more classic tools, the water enhancer, neon glow, and studio light. And now we're going to turn our attention towards the AI generating tools. So basically, these tools will use the power of AI generating, and it will basically replace certain parts or add parts or swap certain parts of your images. So starting with the Gen Erase. Gen Erase is really another generation of your erase tool. We already have an erase tool in Luminar NEO. However, this will really push the content-aware eraser much, much further. Again, what it says in the text, it says, goodbye to distraction with Gen Erase. It replaces unwanted elements effortlessly without compromising the integrity of your photos. So we have few examples here as well. Starting from here, you can imagine that you are on a safari going through, and obviously lots of the scene or frame is distracted with the cars. So by using the tool, you will be able to replace most of it and maybe even add additional elements. After that, something a little bit more simple here, maybe going away, traveling around, and having the distraction of the tent on the top. So very simply, you will be able to replace the top tent and the lines just like this. Another example here, and this is actually something that I've been asked several times over the last few weeks, and that's how to remove the glare from your portrait photos. So this is a great example on how you will be able to use the Gen Erase. Just like this, as you can see, you will be able to basically remove the glare with this tool. Additionally, this is a similar scene as on the beginning. Again, from the Safari, the Gen Erase will be able to remove even big parts of your image. And to top it off at the end, if you come to the situation where maybe one of your friends isn't a friend anymore, you will also be able to remove them with this tool. So there you have it. This is the Gen Erase. So that's the first generative tool. And now let's look at the Scene Expand. Now the Scene Expand will be obviously popular about all kinds of photography, but I have a feeling that especially landscape photographers will really appreciate this. We all run into the situations when we created panorama pictures and maybe forgot to take one of the shots and are we missing it for the panorama, or when we just need different framing and we're missing a little part of the image, or when we want to share it on a certain medium or maybe print it on a certain shape and we missing little part of the image. This will be a great way on how you can create it or add it to your photo. So the Scene Expand will allow you to break free from the limits of traditional aspect ratios. It will expand your horizon beyond the original composition and add new dimensions to your photo. So let's have a look at it. Let's see this image on the beginning right here. Obviously, lovely capture with a beautiful golden hour sunset time with all the birds. Now imagine that you need it just a little bit bigger. Once again, for example, for different frames that you want to print it and you don't really have the data. So then you can use this tool to fill in the rest of the image just like this and end up with something quite cool. Next example is right here. This is a square crop, obviously, that fits to certain scenarios, but not for all types of photos. If you will want to print it on a landscape, you will need a little help, and this is what the Scene Expand is going to do. Moving on, again, for landscape photographers, you can add a little bit of extra data on the edges. Similarly here, if you're missing a part, it will be able to help you from there. And that's pretty much it. I think it's really straightforward. If you agree with me, the Scene Expand is a great way on fixing missing parts of the image. And it really is up to you if you're going to use it or not. But I think it's definitely something that will be worth to try. And to finish it off, we have probably the biggest player or the main tool here in Luminar NEO and in the generating tools. It's one of those tools which I think some photographers will have an issue with. I'm sure, already seen many people or when Adobe introduced the content aware, the generating aware tool, that lots of people were not really agreeing with it. However, I will leave the decision up to you. I think it's good to have the tool, and then really it's up to you what you want to do with it. So first of all, let's again look at the text. Transform your photos by replacing or swapping skies and foregrounds with high quality AI generated visuals that blend in seamlessly with the rest of the photo. Starting from the first example, you can see that you can, for example, swap a dress. So starting with this kind of yellow dress right here, you can end up having this red ball gown. Moving to the next example, starting from the beginning, you have this quite nice garden. However, the water isn't really interesting. It's kind of dirty and there's lots of mess in it. So with the use of Scene Swap, you will be able to replace it with quite nice water. What I also like on it is the fact that it will give you the reflection at the same time, reflection of the pillars and the reflection of the trees. After that, the next example is the bee right here. Starting at the beginning, we don't have a bee, and here you can see that we can add it to your image. Another example of swapping the dress or clothes. So starting from here and ending up right here, also really interesting. And here is an example of creating a sky. So starting right here with a kind of blue, little bit boring sky, ending up with something a little bit more dramatic. So this tool will probably be used across all the different photography styles. You can use it as far as you want. I always think that it's better to have access to the tool like this than not. I'm thinking sometimes, for example, just a simple image of, like a holiday picture with my wife or holiday picture with my friends. And, you have like somebody who just kind of walked through and it kind of took away from the photo. Then you will be able just to kind of brush over it and remove it. And I think that's actually really, really cool. So, Norma, in the comments is saying that the Gen Erase is really interesting. You are indeed right. It's really, really interesting. I think all the tools are interesting. And actually, when I was part of like an announcement meeting, which was done online with many people from Skylum and lots of Skylum and Luminar NEO partners. And when Skylum team actually announced these news and announced these tools, uh, there was complete silence for like maybe 5-10 minutes. Not silence. I mean, the team they have continued talking. However, very unusually for this event, all the partners were really quiet because we were all really surprised by the amount of the tools and by the power of these tools. So usually these events for the partners, when they announce the news a little bit earlier, are really busy, full of questions. And this was the one time when it was really quiet because nobody really expected that we will see all of these tools. Everybody thought that maybe one or two, or maybe it's just something completely else. And it was really interesting to see that kind of really nice surprise from all the partners there. So what did we do? So we have had a look at the different tools, talk about what we can expect. Now let's just run through the list. What else they announced? They announced the further update for the actual application for Luminar NEO, saying that they will refresh the UI design and also work on navigation. I think they are aware that there are some possible opportunities for improvements across the application. And since they all going to be adding all these tools, they're going to do it all at the same time, just making it more smoother and making it easier to use. So for me personally, I'm really excited about that as well. I still think that there are areas of opportunities where definitely the application can be brought forward. Now, when it comes to availability, I already mentioned that on the beginning. However, let's just make sure that it doesn't stay behind. So the first tool we're going to see and the first update we should see will arrive in 2 weeks, and that's at the end of the August. If I'm right, it's the Thursday around 30th of August. Let me just open the calendar and let's have a look at it. Now the Thursday is the 31st, so following the usual dates, I'm assuming that we're gonna see the arrival of the first tool, which is the Studio Light, on the 31st of August. So that will be the first tool we're going to see. We already have the beta versions. We already testing it, and I am very confident that we're gonna see that by the end of August. After that, the tools will be coming gradually throughout the autumn. I can't really say which one will be next. That is still to be decided. So we have to wait for that. However, probably by the end of December, we should see all these tools coming. Now, when it comes to your subscriptions, plans, lifetime purchases, and so on, how does it work? So if you subscribe to Luminar NEO with the Pro, Ultimate, and I can't really, let me quickly open it. It's a Pro, Ultimate, and another subscription. Let's go down here. It will show here. Pro and Ultimate subscription. If you subscribe to Luminar NEO with that, you will not pay anything extra. It will still stay the same, and you will get access to all the generative AI features. So the ones I just mentioned, the Gen Erase, Scene Expand, and Scene Swap. You will also get access to further platform features upgrades. So you will be able to get the Studio Light, Neon and Glow, and Water Enhancers. And you will get all updates and new features that will come with the application. Now, with it, as you probably already know, you will also get access to all the extensions, just like you already do. So if you have a subscription to Luminar NEO with the Pro status, this is what you're going to get. Now, if you have a lifetime version of Luminar NEO or the one-time purchase Luminar NEO version, you can continue using it, of course, because it's yours. That's not a problem. However, if you want to try all these new tools and features, you will have to buy the Creative Journey Pass. The Creative Journey Pass will give you access to all these new tools for 1 year. And really looking at the strategy and everything else, I think it's safe to say that there will be lots of offers, lots of different programs coming throughout the year. So lots of people are already worried about what's going to happen next year and how it's going to work. However, I think really that um, these things will still change and get updated. And if you want to try these tools for as little as $33 or $39, I think it's a great deal. You can get it right now. And if you use our discount code CP NEO 10, which I will put in the description of the video, you can get additional 10% on the purchase. And I think it's a great way on how you can try these tools, get access to them for a year, and then see throughout the year what other offers will come over. So if you have bought the lifetime version of the program, you still have it, you can use it. However, if you want to try the generative AI features and these new tools, you will need this Creative Journey Pass. So that's the accessibility, or that's how to get these tools, and that's also when they're going to arrive. And now I think that we can spend a little bit of time looking at the Studio Light tool. So let's close this. Let me open Luminar NEO, and we have some portrait pictures right here. So let's start from the beginning. Let's have a look at the simple image right here. Let's reset it and bring it into edit module. So here in the edit module, obviously I have the Studio Light here in the essential section. However, as I mentioned in our first video, I think that there will be still changes to the tool because this is an early beta version, and I think that we will maybe see this tool in the portrait section or maybe in the creative section. I'm not sure. However, I think the location of the tool will still change. Now, when we open it, it has a quite uh, large number of different sliders. It also has some drop-down boxes and a button. And really, even though there is fair few of them, they give you a great control over this tool, and that's something that you want. Again, I think the names of some of these sliders will change, and I also think that uh, we will see an update to how they work and what they do. Now, the use of this tool is actually really simple. All you need to do is to take the amount slider and bring it up. Now, it will take a few seconds, and what it does, when you bring the slider up, it basically scan the image and it looks for the subject or for the portrait or for the person. So a little bit similar to other portrait tools like maybe a portrait bokeh or face. It actually scans the image and look for the subject. Once it finds it, it applies the effect to it. So let me show you quickly when I bring it down, adding the effect like this, you can see the stripes arriving here. Now, when we bring it the other way around, we create the other effect or other look when basically in this case, we keeping the same light and just adding additional light on top of the face. When we go the other way around, we making the image darker and we adding just a streak of lights coming through here. So let's say that we're gonna do that somewhere around here. And the next thing we want to do is to click on Place Depth Center. So we click on that, and by doing that, we will get this little button right here, and we can move it around the actual image. So basically, with this little button, moving it around, you adjusting the direction of this effect. So you can place it here, you can have it like really from the top of the head, you can bring it down all the way around or from the front of the face. It really is up to you. Let's say that we gonna go for something like this here. After this, we can go and look at the following sliders. We have the RGB sliders, which help us to adjust the color of the effect. So just like in any other applications, you can use the R to add some green or red, or the G or grid to add some purple or magenta and green, and of course the B to add some blue or warmth. So let's say that we're gonna add a little bit of warmth, we're gonna bring it down, and we're gonna continue. After this, we have some filter adjustments. However, I wanna show you the texture and pattern drop-down boxes. First come first, let's go into the pattern. Basically, it's the pattern of the light or of the effect. By default, right now, it's set to dots, but we can turn it into stripes, which I quite like on this image, or we can turn it to none, and then we can really handle the effect almost like an additional light. So it doesn't have any pattern on it. We can just position the light around the actual face. So for now, let's go back to the pattern, and let's say that we turn it into the stripes and adjust the position again and leave it there. Now with the texture, you can also apply texture to the actual effect. There is a list of different textures here, and you will be able to add some of your own. For example, we can add the glass texture, which makes the whole effect just a little bit more smooth. Or you can also turn it to glass 4, which doesn't really do too much. So glass 22 also does something a little bit different. Also the rays, they do something different as well. However, for now, let's just switch it off and continue. Looking at it, I think the effect is a little bit too strong. However, let's go to the bottom of our tool where we can adjust the depth of the effect. And we can also adjust the exposure of the overall image and the effect. So in this case, let's just bring it down a little bit. And with the depth, well, let's leave it somewhere around 100. Since the effect is a little bit too strong, let's go back to the amount at the top and just bring it up a little bit and do something like this. And I think with the depth, let's just bring it down and make it a little bit more realistic. Of course, that you can still use the button to push it around if you want to make it a little bit more consistent across the face, and you can really do anything you want with it. So this is how the Studio Light works. However, you may be already seen this in our initial video today with the announcement, so I want to show you one more thing. Let's go back to the catalog module. Let's reset this image, if it will allow us, and let's bring it into the edit module. This is where actually using the Studio Light gets even more fun. When you can use multiple different light sources, that's when really it's really exciting. So let's go back to Studio Light and let's start by increasing the amount to make sure that we again scan the image and apply the mask for the face and the rest of the body. So once we have that, what we want to do, we want to go into our pattern and change it from dots to none. So this way we just get the light. Now we want to adjust the position of the light. So let's click on place depth center and position it somewhere around here. Let's say from the top, let's say somewhere around here. Looking at it, I think it's a little bit strong. So let's bring the amount down. And what we're going to be creating is a dual light effect. You know, the kind of effect when you get the red, pink coming from here and blue, green coming from here. So that's what we're creating. So we're going to position this here and we're going to go into our colors where we're looking for some green. So let's bring this down. And then we're going to go into the green and maybe bring it a little bit here. Actually, we wanted the red here. So let's go the other way around and add the red look. So we're going to add the red color right here. And that's, I think, good to start with. Let's go to the bottom where we can play around with the depth. Maybe we don't want it that strong. And with the exposure, let's just bring it down to make the overall image much darker. Now, if the light is a little bit too strong, let's just bring the amount down again, and we're going to continue. So we have at one side, we have the pink light coming from here. Let's close the tool, and let's open it again. And again, just increase the amount slider that will scan the image. Second time when you're doing it, you don't have to wait too long. Then go into the pattern, swap it from dots to none. And once you do that, we have the second light source. So we can click on the place depth center and position it the other way around. So coming from the other side of your subject. Once we do that, we can adjust our color. So from this side, we want green, blue. Going into our RGB, let's bring and add some green, and let's add a little bit of blue to it. That's quite cool. Now you can see that we're also getting some light here and on the edge here. So that's really cool. Let's position it somewhere here. If we want, we can also place it here. And we can bring the amount down again, adjust the depth, so somewhere around here, and bring down the exposure again. So somewhere around here. Now I think the red is a little bit too strong. However, we are getting the effect. So let's close the tool. Let's go into edits and let's go back to our red. So if the red is a little bit too strong, we just need to bring our sliders down and up and maybe play around with the depth again, maybe a little bit here. And now let's open the other tool and see if that is a little bit better. Now this one seems to be a little bit too strong as well. So let's bring the depth down, and I think that's much better. Of course, that you could continue, play around with it even further. You could add multiple different light sources with the studio light and create something really cool. Let me show you the before and after, and I think it's quite exciting. Now, I'm sure that as the beta version get improved, we will see even better performance. Of course, that really the power of the tool is in a combination with masking and with the possibility of using multiple of these light sources at the same time. But I really think that it's really exciting that you can do all of this with just one tool directly in Luminar NEO without the need of going into other applications, using overlays, and so on. So this is where we are. This is a little bit of the studio light. Let me quickly check some of the comments here. So we have a lot from Peter. Pay today, you pay forever. Studio light, end of August, beginning of September. Yeah. Okay, Peter. So let's have a look. So starting with the first question, you don't necessarily have to pay for the features right now. You're more than welcome to wait until the features will be ready. So I've seen this comment several times. Actually, people are asking if they have to buy it now since it's not ready. And you definitely don't have to. You can wait until few of the tools are available and then purchase the upgrade or the license or the journey ticket. So that is up to you to see. So when you're gonna receive access to all the features, so as I say, across the autumn, looking at your message here, you're saying Studio Light at the end of August, which I agree, that's quite right. Neon and Glow at the end of September. Gen Erase, Scene Expand, Scene Swap, and Water Enhancer at the end of October. If you say that, I believe it, and I think that's quite right. More features will be announced and delivered later this year and in the first half of 2024. I have no doubt about that. The team has a list of new features they're working already on, and I can't wait to see all of them coming too. Studio Light looks like a lot of fun, lots of possibilities. Definitely. Especially if you're a portrait photographer, and if you're not still, you can have a lot of fun with it. Now, we have tested it on on other subjects rather than just portraits, and it doesn't really work on it yet. It's built to work on people or human subjects. However, you can really do a lot with it. When you want to be creative, you could do whole photo shoot with the subjects in black and white, for example, in a kind of low light situation. And then you could really play around with this tool and create whole collection of images, which could be really creative, especially with the autumn, winter coming. This could be a lots of fun too. And I think it's a great tool to have, and it just keeps adding to the whole bundle of tools available in Luminar NEO. So folks, unless you have any more questions right now, I think that's it for today. So we have went through all the updates. We have went through all the tools that we're going to see. We have answered some of your questions. Let's just quickly jump into, before we're going to finish, let's jump into the video we have announced earlier and see if there are any questions there, which maybe will be beneficial to answer here as well. Let's quickly close this and let's have a look. Where can you upgrade your Luminar NEO license? You just need to go to the skylum.com website. Now John is saying that he has a lot to learn. And so this goes for all of you folks. If you already own our Luminar NEO masterclass, then you can look out for the upcoming tutorials for each of these tools as they're going to be released. If you haven't purchased our Luminar NEO Masterclass yet, it's a great tool where you can basically really get the most out of Luminar NEO and all the tools in it. And as I just mentioned, you will be getting all the new upgrades and features and tutorials for it as a part of the masterclass too. So I think it's a great deal. If you want to find out more about it, jump to our website, cleverphotographer.com/forward Luminar, and you will find it there. Now, looking at the rest of the image questions, I can't really see any more here. So that's about it. So, folks, thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for joining me again. I will be back with more tutorials, obviously, just like always. And I will be back reporting on the next update, which, as far as I know, should be on 31st of August. Have a lovely evening. Thank you again. Stay safe, and I will speak to you all soon.